Welcome to the Mind Shelf. In a world that often feels noisy and disconnected, sometimes the most profound wisdom comes from the quiet voices of the past. Today, we're opening a treasure trove of insight, the life-changing proverbs of Native American cultures. These aren't just old sayings, they are potent reminders of how to live in harmony with ourselves, each other, and the world around us. Prepare to have your soul stirred and your perspective broadened. Let's delve into the timeless wisdom held within these words. A life-changing journey begins with a single step and the wisdom to know where to place it. What is a man without the animals? If all the beasts were gone, man would die from a great loneliness of spirit. The first and most important lesson is to listen. The voice of the earth, the wind, and the water will teach you everything. We are all visitors to this time, this place. We are only passing through. Our purpose here is to observe, to learn, to grow, to love, and then we return home. When you are in doubt, be still. The answer is not outside of you, but within you. Before you speak, listen. Before you react, think. Before you criticize, empathize. Treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents. It was loaned to you by your children. Peace is not something you wish for. It is something you make, something you do, something you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eyes had no tears. Walk in beauty and let your heart be a compass. He who lies down with dogs will rise up with fleas. A single step can lead to a great journey, but a single lie can ruin a lifetime of trust. The longest journey you will ever take is the one to your own heart. We will be known forever by the tracks we leave. It is better to have less thunder in the mouth and more lightning in the hand. Respect all things, the eagle for its flight, the bear for its strength, and the ant for its diligence. Do not let yesterday's storm define today's sky. A man's greatest journey is to his own soul. Tell me, and I'll forget. Show me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I'll understand. All plants are our brothers and sisters. They talk to us, and if we listen, we can hear them. The wise man is not afraid to say, "I do not know." You have to learn to stand for yourself, even if you are standing alone. The land does not belong to us. We belong to the land. True peace begins when you are at peace with yourself. The greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time you fall. A man who is a man is proud of his people, his heritage, his language, and his culture. The sun rises and sets on the heart of a good man. Our life is what we make it. We are the architects of our own destiny. Listen with your heart. Your ears can be deceived. The path to knowledge is paved with questions, not answers. A man who has no song in his heart has no purpose. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. Everything is connected. You can't wake a person who is pretending to be asleep. What you do today is important because you are exchanging a day of your life for it. A bird cannot fly on one wing. It is easy to be proud when you have no failures to regret. The best way to know yourself is to be with yourself. A man's worth is in his heart, not his possessions. The first sign of wisdom is humility. We are all a part of each other. What affects one affects us all. The greatest courage is to be kind, even when it is not easy. What we are is what we have been. What we will be is what we do now. A man is never lost on a straight road. The land is our mother. She will teach you if you are willing to learn. The most powerful magic is the truth. A man who thinks he knows everything learns nothing. Walk in the path of your ancestors, but do not let their footsteps be your only guide. The mind is the builder of our world. You cannot sell the land on which people walk. A wise man will change his mind, but a fool will never. Every step you take, you are either taking a step towards wisdom or ignorance. The man who seeks revenge is a prisoner of his own heart. Don't ask, live it. He who is of the earth is of the wind. It's not what you do, but what you are that matters. A man's greatness is measured by his compassion, not his power. The past is a memory, the future is a vision, and the present is the only time to live. A man who is good to his fellow man is a man who is good to himself. The most precious gift is the one you give to yourself, self-respect. When you're happy, look deep into your heart, and you will find it is only that which has given you sadness that is giving you happiness. Wisdom comes from within. The way to a man's heart is not through his stomach, but through his mind. A man with a good heart is a man with a good life. The man who has nothing to hide has nothing to fear. You can't have a future if you're stuck in the past. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. The man who has the courage to change has the courage to live. A man's worth is in his deeds, not in his words. The man who has no friends is a man who has no life. The longest journey is the one to yourself. A man who is a man who is kind to women. The man who is too proud to ask for help is the man who will never get it. A man's greatest joy is to be a part of his family. The man who has no dreams has no future. A man who is in touch with his spirit is a man who is in touch with himself. A man who has a good heart is a man who has a good life. The man who is a man who is a good father. The man who has nothing to lose has everything to gain. A man's greatest fear is to be alone. The man who has a good mind is a man who has a good life. A man who is in touch with his emotions is a man who is in touch with his soul. A man who is a man who is a good husband. The man who has a good heart is a man who has a good soul. The man who has no purpose has no life. A man who is a man is a man who is a good friend. The man who has a good mind is a man who has a good soul. The man who is in touch with his body is a man who is in touch with his soul. A man who is a man is a man who is a good son. The man who has a good heart is a man who has a good purpose. The man who has a good mind is a man who has a good purpose. The man who is in touch with his spirit is a man who is in touch with his purpose. A man who is a man is a man who is a good brother. The man who has a good heart is a man who has a good mind. The man who has a good mind is a man who has a good heart. The man who is in touch with his body is a man who is in touch with his mind. A man who is a man is a man who is a good neighbor. The man who has a good heart is a man who is a good person. The man who has a good mind is a man who is a good person. The man who is in touch with his spirit is a man who is in touch with his heart. The man who is a man is a man who is a good man. The beauty and power of these Native American proverbs lie in their simplicity and their profound truth. They remind us of what truly matters: connection, respect, and living in balance. By taking these lessons to heart, we can enrich our lives and walk a more meaningful path. Which of these proverbs resonated with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Mind Shelf for more explorations into wisdom and mindful living. Thank you for watching, and may your journey be filled with beauty and understanding.